What's going on, guys? It's Foogie, and today I want to talk about Halo Infinite and my thoughts on it, coming from a veteran Halo player who's been playing it for quite some time. I put in an ungodly amount of hours into Halo 2 and Halo 3. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess I don't really know, whichever way you want to look at it. I'm not quite old enough to have put a lot of time into Halo CE in its prime, but I've still played around with it. So I've been around the Halo community for years and years now, and so I'm a very diehard fan of the Halo franchise series. Now that being said, I did not come into Halo Infinite with any expectations, considering 343's track record. Not to throw shade or anything, but I'm just being completely honest and upfront with my feelings, so everyone knows, where I'm coming from. Now I've been playing Halo Infinite quite a lot. I've put in about 50, 55 hours at this point in time. I really wanted to get a really good feel for it. I wanted to give the developers time to react to the initial wave of outbursts and stuff like that. So I'm not talking into an echo chamber and then things I say are then fixed next week or something. I wanted to give more substance than just that. So to get into things, really, I have this kind of formatted in a sandwich method, bad, good, bad, just so we're not getting too much of, one thing. So skill-based matchmaking, which is the first thing I'm going to start off with here, it's not specific to Halo Infinite. So, it's in almost every game nowadays, and I'll make a video about this later on the state of modern gaming and why it sucks. But skill-based matchmaking in Halo Infinite seems to be really, really apparent. That being said, like quick play for me at least is super, super sweaty. Like it's more relaxed in ranked playlists. And just for a frame of reference, I'm plat 6 in the open queue with just everyone, and then the solo duo queue on just keyboard and mouse. I play on PC, by the way. So just a solo duo on keyboard and mouse, I placed diamond. So I'm not the best player in the world, but in terms of like how things are spread out, I'm on the top end of players. So for me personally, I can't speak for the lower ranks, but for me personally, like quick play is just super super sweaty. And after 50 hours, I've had a lot of fun in Halo Infinite. Um, but I just straight up do not play matchmaking. I don't, and since matchmaking is the only thing out right now, like I do not play Halo Infinite as much as I want to or as much as I used to, because anytime I get on, whether it's quick play, ranked, big team, whatever, I know I'm going to have to sweat. Like I'm gonna have to be sitting in a pool of sweat at the end of every game in order to not go 1-20. It's really annoying, and I wish that was something that would either dial down or just get rid of altogether. And like I said, I'll get into skill-based matchmaking as a whole, in another video about modern gaming, because it's not just specific to Halo Infinite. The next thing I want to talk about is the challenge system. So I think we all know at this point it sucks. It was never a good idea to have the progression solely based off of challenges. And with that being said, I do know their 3.3 is reacting very swiftly, and I think definitely headed in a good direction with all the challenge system and implementing, full-fledged XP system. So I think that's going to be really good for the future of this game. With that being said, though, the fact that it was in the game in the first place is just it's unacceptable. I'm gonna be honest here. The community, ever since they learned about the challenge only system, since day one, they said no, this is a terrible idea. Please don't do this. And I guess we just weren't listened to until it launched, and everyone's like, "Yo, this is terrible. Please don't do this." So I'm not sure where the disconnect was on that, because I think that was a general consensus among the Halo community, which rarely happens, that nobody thought that was a good idea, but it was still in the game. So I'm not sure who green lighted that or really pushed for it and thought it might work, but I would just listen to your community before things are released, so they don't have to be fixed later down the line. It saves you time and money. It saves us frustration. It's just a good thing to do, and I think 343 knows that now. So whether they did or did not before, not sure, but now. Another bad thing about the challenge system is, they are fixing it, so it's not as apparent. But there are challenges like get 3 kills with the pulse rifle, uh, or get 3 kills with the mangler, or do something very, very specific, like win 3 games of oddball. And it takes away from the sandbox of the game, which I'll talk about later. But the sandbox of the game it's amazing. It's so much fun, and the challenge only system really, really takes away from that, because you have to do these very specific things to be rewarded and progress. Or if you play the way you want to play, you're not rewarded at all. So so for some examples of that is someone who goes 20-3, but they used a BR the whole time, nades, gets 50 XP, while someone who ran around a goat with a ghost and got 3 kills with a ghost but died 50 times gets 200 XP. So I think that's something they are working towards, but something I think still needs to be mentioned, just to avoid any future confusion on new DLCs that drop or challenges that may come in. But they are listening, and that's something I take into real positive. So the next thing is the gameplay, which I touched on a little bit with the sandbox, but in my opinion, this is definitely the best game since Reach. This is definitely the most hours I've put into a Halo game since the Reach launch. And I think that goes to speak a lot. I think 343 has really listened to the community. So, like I said, I wasn't sure. The challenge system really shocked me, because they seem to have nailed the whole, listening to your community, because I think they really knocked infinite gameplay out of the park. It feels really satisfying to, use the weapons, to take down enemies. The sandbox is really fun. I think they did a really good job with it. So I think overall it's really fun gameplay, but again, that kind of links back to the skill-based matchmaking, to where it's kind of sucking that fun out of the gameplay. Next on my list here is armor customization. I think we all know that is brutal, to say the least. I think it's not cool to lock basic colors behind progression walls. Like, if I want to make my dude purple and black, like, why can't I do that? That's been a thing since Halo 3. It's been a thing since you could like ever customize armor in Halo 2 and stuff. So I'm a little confused on that one. It doesn't make much sense to me. Maybe someone can explain that to me. I think also, uh, excuse me. I think also, it just things like the battle pass, like really late tier things in the battle pass, they just don't look very good. The colors you get are very not different from the colors that you would have by default. So I think something needs to be done with armor customization, and I think armor customization is also going to tie into one of my later points about the monetization. But before everyone gets worked up, I'll talk about that in a minute here. So next up, I'll move to engine decisions. The engines, the slip space, the what Halo Infinite is built on, and that's not something that can be updated with Halo Infinite or changed. I realize that, um, but I just have some questions on it. So why is it so CPU based? Coming from someone who plays on a 1080p monitor, who has a Ryzen 5800X, that's not top of the line, but that's pretty dang close to top of the line. And I can barely push out 120, 130 frames on 1080p, just because it's so demanding and it doesn't touch my graphics card. And that's something I realized that can't be changed now. It's too late. But I'm just really confused as to why a modern game would be CPU based. Um, so if someone could explain that one, I'm actually curious. Like, I'm a developer myself, so it's something I'm genuinely curious on. And I'll probably do more research later, but I don't want to bore you guys with that. But other than being CPU based, the engine, it looks great. It is definitely a good looking game. You can't deny that. I think it looks good, flows well. I think things work really well. And I'm not sure if this is an engine thing or a gameplay thing, but there's also something, I just thought about this off the top of my head, is that trading in terms of like kills, like I put 3 bursts of a BR into an enemy's chest, and they put 3 bursts into my chest, and we both melee each other at the same time. Sometimes I will die and my enemy won't, or sometimes they will die and I won't. It just seems very random, and I'm not sure if they changed how much shield you have to get rid of to melee someone and kill them, but it just seems very random to me, and it just really annoying sometimes. So I'm not sure if that's an engine thing, considering it's CPU based, and maybe some things don't register for other people. I'm not based on their their CPU power level. I'm really not sure, but to me that seems kind of what it could be. Because I have a consistent 60 ping to 40 to 60 ping, which I have on every online game that I play. So I know that ping's not the issue because it I have it on every other game I play. Those are my engine. Those are my thoughts on the engine. Next is aim assist. I think that's another big topic. Is aim assist is way too powerful for controllers. Like I said, I'm on a keyboard and mouse. But with all of that being said, I do know that aim assist 100% has its place for controller players. I am not saying to get rid of it at all because then it really would not be fair to controller players. And so I'm not being totally biased here. I'm just saying in Halo Infinite, it is way too strong. To test this theory, and I'm like, these guys seem to not miss shots. Like, what is it? And I plugged in my controller, and it's crazy. So to give you guys an example, I was playing capture the flag, and someone comes off the grab lift, right? I'm not kidding you. When I stood still, did not move my crosshairs at all. My crosshairs followed the guy from the grab lift up and all the way down, and I just kept shooting. I did not have to move my stick at all, and you just kept shooting. So I think that's really annoying considering when you're playing on keyboard and mouse, it's very punishing. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be punishing, to some extent, but like if you're 1 pixel off, like my shots miss. They just, disappear into the void. And like I said, like I'm a diamond level player, so I'm not missing all that many shots. I average 40 to 50% accuracy on a lot of my games. So, which may not sound like a lot, but when you're using automatic rifles and you're using a lot of things in the heated battles, that's, a pretty good ratio. And there's some battles where just all my shots just disappear into the void. And, sometimes I definitely do miss, but other times it's like my crosshair was on your neck and you're not getting hurt right now. So I think it's either needs to be a little more forgiving for mouse and keyboard players, which I would honestly, even though I am a mouse and keyboard player, I would not advise that. I would just advise to tone down aim assist for controllers just a little bit because honestly, it's really, and it gets brought up quite a bit in a lot of arguments, but I think Infinite takes it to another level and makes it a little bit unfair because you can definitely tell the difference between keyboard and mouse and controllers, even when top streamers are plugging in controllers because it's just easier to use. Um, so I think that's something that needs to be changed. And for my last topic here, it's the monetization. First off, I want to say for people who didn't see any kind of monetization or this level of monetization coming, I think you've been living under a rock. I'm not sure what you're expecting here. It's a free to play game. They have to make their money somehow. 343 has to make their money somehow. And, a store was going to be that way. I think we all knew that. And if you didn't know that, I really don't know what to tell you at this point. I don't know if you've been paying attention to gaming at all the past, 10 years or whatever. But, yeah, so I definitely saw this coming. But with that being said, I still think it's a little egregious. Um, it just doesn't make sense to me because if I'm gonna pay for stuff, I want it to be new, cool, and exciting. I don't want to pay for chess pieces and stuff that have been in Halo since Reach. It's like that's out of the game, and now it's back in the game, but you have to pay for it. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I think that is where the line gets crossed for me. It's a little egregious. You're adding in things that have already been in the game, but you're making people pay for it. I think that's not right. Things that I think are worth paying for are new things. Like maybe you got some really cool, interesting metallic or glossy armor coating, or some kind of animated armor coating, or some really cool new armor, or new being the key word here. Don't resell past Halo things and then make people pay for it, or make the slightest of adjustments and make people pay for it. But yeah, those are really my thoughts on the monetization, and overall, that's my thoughts on Halo Infinite as of now, about 55 hours in. Like I said, but overall, I think it's a great game. I'm gonna continue to play every now and then, but like I said, that skill-based matchmaking really has me playing other games right now. Even though I really want to play Halo, it's fun, but it's just, it's a little too sweaty. And I'll make a video and stuff on the campaign and Forge. Well, probably I don't know about Forge, but definitely I'll make a video about the campaign once it releases. But as of time of recording this, the campaign's not out yet, so I'll make a video on that when it comes out. Other than that, let me know what you guys think. I would definitely say as a word to the community, tone down the toxicity just a little bit. Try to give your feedback in like just a more civilized manner, and then maybe suggest new things. But yeah, those are my thoughts, and yeah, have a good one, guys.